Hey guys, this is video number 2 of our toxic masculinity series. As I spoke before in the first video, there's 3 components or 3 core principles that they say that makes masculinity toxic. We talked about the first one being toughness or strength, and this one is they say masculinity is anti-femininity and a lack of showing emotion and a lack of asking for help. Now, I agree, men don't ask for help nearly as much as they maybe should, but I also think that asking for help has had negative influences in men's life, and they're just afraid of being burned. What I mean by that is you open up and you say something to your partner about, hey, I just need help with this, blah, 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 when this isn't going well with me, I can't stop this, blah, 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 whatever. That is then used against you later somehow, some way. Well, you would be a real man if you didn't do that, and you're like, well, that's what I told you I had a problem with. Why are you throwing that in my face right now? And so many men have been conditioned just not to say anything. And there's also the aspect of it's not manly to ask for help, but there's nothing wrong with asking for help. But some things you just got to roll up your sleeve and do yourself. So there's got to be a balance there. I'll say that. But I also think that being masculine doesn't mean you're anti-feminine. It just means that you're masculine. Especially if being masculine just means having manly traits. That doesn't mean you're against someone having female traits or feminine traits. It just means that's not you. So I think that's a weird argument, saying that we're anti-feminine just because we're pro-masculinity. I think it's possible to be pro-femininity and pro-masculinity. It just needs it to be in a healthy, natural state. As far as not showing emotions, I think it is a manly trait to control your emotions. That's a masculine trait, and there's nothing wrong with that. And this is why I say that. Let's say there's some kind of awful situation, and you have kids, and you have 2 kids, and the kids are both female, and you have a wife. And when this instant happens, whatever it is, an accident of some kind, they're freaking out. They're super stressed. They can't control their emotions. Everything's just hitting the fan. It's hitting the fan. If you break down and fall apart just like they did, and there's nothing wrong with what they did, but it happened. I'm not saying that makes them weak or whatever. It just means that they broke down. If you break down too, there's absolutely no control over the situation, and someone needs to. If everybody's freaking out, no one's going to be able to handle the situation. So that's one reason, and I think that a lot of relationships, the men are looked at as the provider and the protector. You can't be a provider and or a protector if you can't control your emotions. Not that there's anything wrong with crying. I just think there's something wrong with crying about anything and everything. You need to have your emotions under control. The other reason is, if you are losing your shit over small stuff, after a little bit of time, your female partner will no longer have trust in you as a protector because you are always losing your shit. And once you lose that, it's nearly impossible to get back. So just be careful what you share with your women. And it's not because they're intentionally trying to be mean or whatever. It just means that they need to feel safe. That's one of their top priorities when searching for a mate, is to feel safe. And if you can't stay calm in everyday average situations, it's hard for them to have confidence that you're going to be calm and collected and handle shit for them when the shit hits the fan. So those are my aspects or my response to both anti-femininity and or lack of showing emotions. I don't think everybody has to be a tough guy, but I do think you need to learn to control your emotions so that when the shit hits the fan, you can still do the job that you're required to do. That's all. It's just discipline, which at some time we will go over what discipline is and how to develop it and everything like that. But for right now, this is just video number 2. Tell me your thoughts about the anti-femininity, lack of emotions, and or not seeking help. I know that there's a larger majority of men coming down with mental illness and a larger majority of men not seeking help. One more thing on that topic. I do know that sometimes society tries to treat male depression the same way they treat female depression when we're two different creatures. What men need to get out of depression is not the same of what women want or need to get out of depression. And so sometimes men will ask for help. They go to a counselor or whatever, and they're being told, well, act like a woman and everything will be okay. And after a while, you're like, I don't want to fucking do that. And so you just stop going and you're like, what's the point of asking for help? So we need to be careful as a society how we handle things. But in all, I do think men need to learn to be okay to ask for help. I just think that you need to ask other quality male friends, not your woman that's meant to be your husband, your wife, or your life partner, because they need to keep that respect. They need to keep that confidence in you that when the shit hits the fan, you can handle it. Okay. Well, have a nice day. Tell me your thoughts. What do you think? And we'll move on to video 3.